I'm Alex from Wii Games, and today we're off to the races. Introducing the Grand National Horse Race game. It's a fast-paced dice rolling game where you'll be rolling the dice to see which of the horses will make it across the finish line first. And if you want, you could either play this game for chips or for real money. Let's get started. So first, we're going to open up the box and take a look at its contents. On the top, you're going to spot the board. Then you're going to spot chips of 3 different colors, blue, white, and red. Alongside that, you'll find a pair of dice, a deck of cards, and the horses that you'll need to start racing. We're going to start off by grabbing the deck of cards. And then, we're going to remove all the aces and kings. Or in this case, we're going to remove all the 1s and the 13s. Alongside that, we'll get rid of the jokers. So, give me just one moment. We're going to take all these cards and toss them to the wind. Or in actuality, we're just going to take these cards and put them to the side, so we won't be needing them for this game. Now you'll notice that the remaining cards are numbered 2 through 12, and each of those numbers is also representative of one of the numbers that you'll spot right here on the board. Next up, you're going to have one player be the dealer and shuffle up all the cards. So, next up, you're going to be taking the horses out of the pen, or the box. And each of these horses has a number on the side of it. You'll see the horse and his jockey on top. So, like for example, number 6 goes in the 6 slot over here. Number 9 will go in the 9 slot, and so on and so forth. Then, you're going to have the dealer shuffle up the cards one last time, and then draw the top 4 cards. The first card is 7. So we're going to take number 7 and put him in Scratched Horse 1. Number 2 will be number 8. Put number 8 in Scratched Horse 2. Third card is number 6, and that'll go in Scratched Horse 3. And last but not least, number 5 in Scratched Horse 4. But what do Scratched Horses even mean? Well, in this game, you're going to be rolling the dice, and depending on what number comes up, that's the horse that you're going to be moving forward on the board. However, if you roll a scratched horse, you have to pay that many chips to the pot instead. So for example, if I roll the dice right here, it's a 5 and a 2, that's a 7, and it looks like number 7 is in Scratched Horse 1. So I have to take one of my chips and deal it to the pot. However, if I were to roll something else, like if I were to roll a 3, I take horse number 3 and move him 1 space forward on the board. Now you'll notice on the board itself, some of the horses have much shorter paths to the finish line than others. Well, that's because numbers that are closer to the center are more frequently rolled. Versus if you wanted to roll the number 2 or the number 12, you'll have to roll that 4 times for that horse to win, which is pretty difficult. Now that we have our 4 scratched horses, we're going to take these cards and toss them over here, and we're going to shuffle up the deck just one last time and then deal the cards to each player. In this example, I'm going to do a 3-player game. Now, sometimes card distributions are uneven, but don't worry. The dealer shifts after every round, so every player will eventually have a chance to have a greater amount of cards. Now that each player has their cards, they're going to go and take a look through their deck to see what numbers they have. If they have any of the scratched horses, they have to pay that many of their tokens to the pot. So for player 1, let's take a look. We have 2 8s, a 5, and a 7. So number 8 is 2 chips. So this player takes 2 of his chips and will place it in the pot. Number 5 is worth 4 chips, so he's going to take 4 of his chips and place them in the center. And lastly, number 7, who is worth 1 chip. Speaking of chips, you could either just distribute them evenly to all players, or you could assign values to them. Like you could have the whites be worth 1, the reds worth 5, and the blues worth 10, or however you want to play. You could also treat them as if this is a quarter, this is worth 50 cents, $1, or whatever measures you want. The remaining cards you have in your hand will signify the bets that each player has. If a horse of one of the numbers you have wins, then you're going to win that much of the pot. So for example, player 3 has 2 3s, 2 4s, 1 12, 1 2, 1 6, 1 10, actually 2 10s and 2 9s. So if we have horse number 4 who reaches the finish line first, player 3 is going to earn half of the pot because there's 4 of each card in the deck. In the meantime, if one of the horses that player 3 doesn't have wins, then looks like player 3 is out of luck and won't win anything this round. So on to the actual game. Now that each player has their own bets and the horses are scratched and the pot is all ready to go, you're going to have the player to the left of the dealer be the first one who rolls the dice. They'll roll a 4, and depending on what number comes up, that's the horse that's going to be moving forward. So horse number 4 moves forward 1 space. The next clockwise player will then take the dice and roll them, and that's a 10. Move number 10 forward, so on and so forth. But if a player rolls a scratched horse, which in this case is 5, 6, 7, or 8, then they take that many chips from their pile and have to pay it to the pot immediately. So for example, if I rolled a 7, then that looks like I have to pay one of my chips to the pot. But what happens if you're playing and you roll a scratched horse and you've got no chips left? Well, unfortunately, you're out of the game. The other players will continue playing until one horse eventually reaches the end. However, if you're playing for cash, you could re-buy in by using actual dollar bills. Now let me take you quickly through how an actual game would run. Okay, and now we're pretty much by the end of the game. As you can see, the pot has grown immensely, but that's also because we rolled 5, 6, 7, 8 as our scratched horses, which could lead to gigantic amounts of money up for grabs. Eventually, we roll the dice and looks like number 9 wins. Crosses the finish line, and all players are going to go and check their hand to see how many 9s they have. Looks like player 1 has 1 9, so they're going to get a quarter of the pot. Player 2, 1 9, so they also get a quarter of the pot. So player 3 gets half of the pot. And that's pretty cool, especially with such a massive pile right over here. You'll take all the cards, including the ones that you discarded, but not the 1s and 13s, and then shuffle them all back together. Take all the horses and place them back on their starting squares, divvy up the funds to the players, and then you can easily just restart for next round, with the player to the dealer's left becoming the next dealer. If you're playing for chips, the last one standing wins. Or if you're playing for money, you could re-buy in or cash out after a race has concluded. So that's Grand National Horse Race. It's a lot of fun and it's perfect for game night. Whether you're playing with the family or with your adult buddies, this game is bound to be a hit. Anyways, I'm Alex from Wii Games, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below if you want more how to play videos.